What's up, guys, and welcome to FPL Today. I'm the man in the know, JNO, and welcome to a football update for all of you football and fantasy football fans out there in the world. This is basically where I go over the recent news in the football world and let you know what is going on regarding the return of the Premier League and more news that is relevant to you. Just some stuff to keep you entertained as we are all on lockdown in the UK. But before we get into that, just to my right, probably to your left on the screen right now, is just a quick reminder that you can vote for FPL Today in the Football Content Awards. Link will be in the description. Vote for me in the Best Fantasy Football Creator Video category. Any votes are greatly appreciated. And it's just a quick way for you guys to say thank you if you have enjoyed my content. And also a quick word from our sponsors, OneFootball. OneFootball is the perfect app for you to keep up to date with the leagues around the world and when they might be returning, what their plans are for finishing the season, and also to keep up to date with transfers and various other news like that. You can download it on iOS and Android device, and you can customize it to your own needs so you get the news that you need to your phone. If that sounds like something that's perfect for you, check out the top link in the description down below, and let's get on with the video. So we're going to change up the format of these videos because we're just going to talk about football until the Fantasy Premier League returns, and so we're not going to have any fancy graphics. It's just going to be my pretty face, which is why I made sure to get a haircut before we did a whole video of just me. So, first bit of news is we have leaked FIFA documents stating contracts should be extended until the end of the current season. A British-based news agency has seen a confidential document containing some of the suggestions of one of the FIFA coronavirus working groups, and the above information relating to contracts was on it. The leaked document from the governing body of FIFA states that players and coaches' contracts should be extended till the end of the current season. The document also states that there will be changes to the start and finish times of the transfer window, and it states that clubs and players will be urged to come to agreement over salary reductions. With many transfers already arranged for next season, reports also states that until the end of the current season concludes, these moves will be put on hold and will take place at the first possible opportunity. It's also reported that FIFA have made no final decision on all of the above. This is just their plans at this moment in time. And speaking about players and clubs talking and agreeing on reduction of salary, 9 players have been sacked by FC Sion from the Swiss League due to them being asked to take a suspension in pay indefinitely due to the current pandemic, and 9 players, including the likes of Alex Song, have refused this. The players refused to sign an agreement for the wage cut during this indefinite suspension, which led to FC Sion sacking all of them, which seems really drastic. But whether FIFA step in and get involved in this situation is yet to be seen, but players like Alex Song will hopefully be able to find re-employment at other clubs. Because the format is looser than usual, I will be just throwing in some various other things that I feel like throwing in when I do come across them. And one thing that I do want to throw in is a video from my nephew. Yes, we're going to give a shout out to the family. He has released a video on YouTube. A link will also be in the description down below regarding the coronavirus. It's a nice little take on it. So make sure to go and check out his channel, subscribe, leave a comment, tell him I sent you, and I'm sure it will lift, in times like these, lifted kids' spirits up after making this great video. So here is a quick clip from my nephew, Harris.
Even though the large tracts of Europe and many old and famous states have fallen into the grip of coronavirus and all the horrors of COVID-19, we shall not flag or fail. We shall go on to the end. Shall fight it in France, shall fight it in Italy, shall fight it with growing confidence and growing strength. We shall defend our vulnerable, whatever the cost may be. We shall fight it in the hospitals, we shall fight it in the care homes, we shall fight it in the towns and the cities. We shall fight it at all costs. We shall never surrender.
So I think you'll agree, a great video by my nephew Harris there. Thank you so much for him putting that out. A nice little video to lift all our spirits, and a nice little segue due to that being around the current virus going around the world, which I'll try not to mention because I keep getting demonetised every time I mention it, but putting Harris's clip in there probably has already done that, but you know what, I had to share that bit out there with the world. We will speak about Luka Jovic's break from 28-day self-isolation. Now, Luka Jovic is in hot water, the Real Madrid player, with club and country after he was spotted outside his Belgrade apartment when he was meant to be on 28 days of self-isolation, like all of the Real Madrid players were after finding out that a Real Madrid basketball player had come down with coronavirus. The president of Serbia has threatened Jovic with arrest if he is caught breaking the isolation again. Madrid are reportedly so unhappy with Luka Jovic that he could be sold this summer to the likes of Spurs and Chelsea. Jovic has responded to all of this on Instagram. His response stated, "It's very unfortunate for me that some people did their job unprofessionally and did not give me the correct instructions for how to behave in self-isolation. In Spain, I was allowed to go to a pharmacy and a supermarket so that I could get groceries and what I needed, which is not apparently the case here." So it seems like either a bit of a misunderstanding or Luka Jovic didn't really take the responsibility on himself to find out what the situation was in his home country. Either way, it does seem like a bit of a drastic response by Real Madrid if they do look to sell him, although this may just be an excuse for them to move him on because they want to look at other options. Before we move on to the next story about Zlatan Ibrahimovic, if you are enjoying this video, please do hit that like button, subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with FPL Today and the content that I'll be hopefully providing you guys over this period of isolation. Anyway, next news story is Zlatan to retire because of this recent pandemic, and also the fact that he was a Leeds target over January with the likes of Edison Cavani. Now, first off about his retirement, Zlatan Ibrahimovic is reportedly considering whether his playing career is over, with the coronavirus outbreak continuing to impact football. Ibrahimovic rejoined Milan in December 2019 after leaving MLS side LA Galaxy, signing a 6-month deal with the option for a further year. But according to La Gazette, the 38-year-old is weighing up different options, including retirement and going into management. Also regarding Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Andrea Radrizzani, I probably butchered that name so much, has told Sky in Italy that he tried to persuade Ibrahimovic to return to England, but the striker had a successful season recently with Manchester United to return to Leeds in the Championship. Ibrahimovic and Paris Saint-Germain's Edison Cavani were both targeted as Leeds sought promotion to the Premier League. And apparently the talks with Zlatan Ibrahimovic were the most concrete. He could have given us the decisive push, Radrizzani said, but he decided to go to AC Milan. He's been very honest and transparent with me, and he decided AC Milan was the better move. So, just imagine in a different universe, we could have seen Zlatan Ibrahimovic or Edison Cavani at Leeds United, which would have been absolutely ridiculous. Imagine that had happened and then this outbreak had still happened as well. I mean, I'm sure Leeds would have absolutely been running away with the league, not that they haven't been anyway, in the Championship, but imagine they just had Zlatan or Edison Cavani to lead the line. And the final story, which I think is some great news, which can really be quite uplifting in times that we're currently going through, and Abdelhak Nouri, I'm not going to try and say the first name because I know I'll butcher it, returns home after 33 months in a coma. Now, if you didn't know, former Ajax midfielder Nouri has been in a coma since 2017. Nouri suffered a cardiac arrhythmic attack on the pitch in July 2017 in a friendly, sustaining severe and permanent brain damage caused by a lack of oxygen supply to the brain. However, now, after 3 years, he's being treated at home instead of in a hospital, which is a drastic improvement, meaning he can be at home with his family. The 22-year-old woke up a year later from his injury, but was left unable to move or communicate for himself. However, Nouri's brother has come out on Dutch television and let everybody know that he can now sit up by himself, watch football and convey emotion after moving into a new home, one specifically designed to cater for his needs. In quotes from Nouri's brother, he says, "We talk to him like he's not sick, we talk to him in our conversations, and we watch football with him in the living room, for example. Then when he watches, you notice that he likes it very much. He often shows emotions. Sometimes he's emotional, but often there is also a smile, which means he's recognising the game that he used to play in front of him, and it looks like there is at least some progression on his condition, which I think is fantastic news. And with that good bit of news, we end this episode. So thank you so much for tuning into this episode as always. Thank you guys for still being around the channel, even though there's no fantasy football about, which is very much appreciated. We will continue to try and bring you news. Of course, news is a bit slower because there is no football games on, but we will do our best to keep bringing you some sort of video content for you to keep up to date with the football world in this time when there is so much for us to worry about. So make sure, first of all, to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Check out OneFootball, but most importantly, make sure to stay safe, keep cleaning those hands, and remember, only go out if 100% necessary, because we don't want to spread this disease and cause it to affect those most at risk from it. With all that being said, I've been Chayano, and this has been FPL Today, and remember, it's all about the game.